We have a man who needs no introduction. He's an author, he's a columnist, a Marxist thinker. His comrades describe him as a working class hero. Please welcome D. Raja. How is the India alliance doing, sir?
No, it is doing well. It's expected to do well. That is one reason why BJP is getting jittery every passing day.
Accommodating Rahul Gandhi in Wayanad was a big mistake. How do you see that?
It is one of the issues which you have picked up. I do not know why. It is not a major issue. At national level, the communists, the Congress, the other secular democratic forces agree to work together in order to defeat BJP and save the nation and save the democracy. But in Kerala, the situation different. Nehru, our Ajay Ghosh, what you mean? It's one of the oldest rare photos we have. The communist movement always stands for an alternative, stands for building a new India. When I say new India, why there should be poverty? Why there should be caste hierarchy? This is what Dr. Ambedkar said. You can talk of any political reform or economic reform, but wherever you go, you will have to confront the monster which is called caste. Even as communists, we have to address this question in the Indian society.
If you can tell us about the distinction and also please tell us what's happening with the calls for a reunification.
There were some ideological, political reasons. But in today's context, those ideological, political reasons are not there. Now it is a new situation. After this split, it has affected the Communist Party's electoral strength. It is Communist Party of India which proposed the reunification of communist movement. We keep discussing how to unite the left, not only communist movement, how to unite the entire left.
You think there's a scope for that also to happen?
There is. The situation demands left should come together.
My question really was, sir, what is stopping that unity?
No, what is the stopping? We are proposing, you are asking me.
No, the CPIM is not
agreeing. Go and ask them.
Okay.
This is not the way to have a debate.
Do you see the Russian aggression as a problem or is it something that is not the focus of the party?
First of all, people should question, what is this NATO? Why NATO is so aggressive? Why NATO is trying to spread everywhere? And NATO will not stop only Central Asia. NATO can move to South Asia also.
The reason I asked this, sir, this is from my previous interview. I had interviewed Kavita Krishnan. She said,
I'm not getting into what others say.
No, but
I'm not getting into, in the Indian society, there was a debate at the time of Ambedkar, whether caste should be treated as part of superstructure or as part of
the base.
Right. Ambedkar said, wherever they go, they carry caste. They go to UK, they carry caste there. If Ambedkar is alive, Ambedkar will hold my hand. I will hold Ambedkar's hand. We both will walk together. We both will fight together for the liberation of the people.
The most influential ism in the country today appears to be Hindutva. It has taken a long time for this ideology to come of age. But what happened to the other ideological movements that began in the early 20th century? The RSS will turn 100 years old next year, but so will the Communist Party of India. Ambedkarism, Marxism, liberalism, Dravidianism, feminism, Gandhiism. What role are these great big isms of the 20th century playing in the 21st century? What relevance do they have today?
I'm an atheist in the same way as I'm an electrical.
Why have there been casteism existing in the country still today?
Feminism, by definition, is the belief that men and women should have equal
So the
rights.
nature of the system is to be as mean and rotten as you can. to try to maximize profit.
The national elections are around the corner, and what better time than now to talk about isms? I'm Sudipto Mondal, and welcome to this special election series of What's Your Ism?
They are part of the most enduring political alliance in the history of India. The two principal communist parties of India, the CPI and the CPM, have walked together for so long that it has become hard to tell them apart. What is the difference between their political lines, and what happened to all that talk of reunification? Join me in this two-part series as I speak to the general secretaries of the two parties, D. Raja and Sitaram Yechury, about communism in India. My guest today is the leader of a left party which has diminished drastically since the last century that it was formed, but it continues to be electorally relevant. It boasts of an office in every district in India. It has a unit down to the Gram Panchayat level in most parts of the country. The CPI might be down, but it is not out of electoral calculations. To speak about the ism of the original Communist Party of India, no brackets, we have a man who needs no introduction. He's an author, he's a columnist, a Marxist thinker. His comrades describe him as a working class hero. Please welcome D. Raja. Sir, thank you so much for coming on this show. This is a great office, sir. It is one of the biggest communist offices I've seen.
Definitely, it is one of the oldest offices for any political party, because we have this office. Then we have the offices of other political parties also around. The office of the Congress Party is coming up, and there is office of Aam Aadmi Party, then RJD. If you walk further, you will find the office of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Then if you come this side, you have Surjit Bhavan, run by CPM. CAG office is here. So it is a very important location for that matter. Right. And we have office, and I must express my sincere gratitude to my senior leaders who took the efforts to build such an office to function as headquarters of CPI, guiding the work activities of our party across the country, from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, from Maharashtra to Manipur.
What is the centerpiece of your office, the library?
Library is in our basement. It is one of the very best libraries, I must say, because many research scholars do come here. We have very precious documents.
Is it a lending
also.
library, or you just can sit?
No, it is party library.
Okay.
If people want to refer to some material, read some material, they can come with permission and they can sit and read. And this has been named after Ajay Kumar Ghosh. That is why it is called Ajay Bhavan.
Can you tell us about Ajay Ghosh, sir?
No, he was the general secretary of the party before the split. He was the general secretary, and he was a great comrade of Bhagat Singh also. His work on Bhagat Singh and his comrades, one of the inspiring works which we all of us keep reading. Right. And Ajay Ghosh is our well respected and one of the greatest communist leaders in the country. And this building has been named after him. That is why it is called Ajay Bhavan. Our library. She is our young librarian.
Hello.
Who is taking care.
So you have archives also over here?
Yeah. We have wonderful collection of old documents inside.
Before we get into the ism and all of that, how is the India alliance doing, sir?
No, it is doing well. It is expected to do well. That is one reason why BJP is getting jittery every passing day. Why Mr. Modi, the BJP, RSS combined are stooping to such a low level to abuse opposition, raising issues not connected with any livelihood of the people. So
there are also cracks, no, sir?
it has given no. After all, the independent political parties, they come together on a issue which concerns the country and the future. Now, constitution is under attack, democracy is in peril, secular parliamentary democratic system is under attack. So, country has to be saved. There are people who believe we have already lost the republic. Now it is time we will have to fight and reclaim our republic. So, how to do that?
Can I ask you
Unless
in that
you
context?
fight and defeat BJP.
In that context, can I ask you, there is this talk about joint fight and all that. I was just going through. So for this interview, I prepared using the document from your party congress 2 years ago, the declaration, the resolution. One of the things mentioned in the resolution is that accommodating Rahul Gandhi in Wayanad was a big mistake. How do you see that?
It is one of the issues which you have picked up. I do not know why. It is not a major issue. Of course, he went and fought because there Kerala is a specific political situation. Because it is not like any other state. There the conflict is or fight is between LDF and UDF. LDF and UDF. At national level, the communists, the Congress, the other secular democratic forces agree to work together in order to defeat BJP and save the nation and save the democracy. But in Kerala, the situation different. In that context, leader of his stature should have fought directly against BJP. In any other state, that would have sent a good message. That is how it has been explained. Now it is for Congress party to think over.
Which brings me to another question, again about the South and a particular state. Both your seats are from Tamil Nadu. I just picked up from my sources that the DMK is very keen that you should contest a third time.
Talks are going on. I understand. Maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, again our party and DMK will sit together and discuss. What they discuss, it is for our state leadership. Let us wait and see what will be the outcome.
You know what I heard? I heard that the
that you hear. So people.
Let me share what I heard. I heard that if the ticket doesn't go to Mr. Raja, the DMK thinks it will be on a weak wicket, and it wants the CPI. It wants the CPI to make an exception.
Let us see. I do not know. Nobody has spoken to me. Even my party leadership has not conveyed anything to me. People like you must be getting informations from your own sources. I cannot ask your source. Let us wait.
Can I ask you, is the third term ruled out? Is that like absolute?
No. Yeah, it is for my party to decide everything. I am the general secretary, but finally we function on a very principled position. That is, democratic centralism is the basic organizational principle of our party. It means what? The All India Center and the state center should work in coordination, and we must take into account the national political context and the balance of political forces in every state, and we should discuss and decide accordingly what is good for the party, what is good for the future of the country, and how to shape the political course of the country in the coming days. How party can contribute in that effort. That is how we have to take everything into consideration, and accordingly we will have to decide the constituencies, candidates, everything that our party will be discussing.
Right. So this is your office now, sir? This is the floor on which your office is?
Yeah. This picture is our Telangana volunteers who took part in Telangana armed revolt against Nizam rulers. Razakars.
And this corridor has many interesting photographs.
Yes.
I see you have Ho Chi Minh.
This is Che, Ho Chi Minh, preamble of our constitution. This is Bhagat Singh. And all our former general secretaries, leaders.
You've written in one of your pieces that along with Ambedkar, Bhagat Singh is an icon that can bring the left and the Ambedkarites together. Oh, we have Ambedkar here.
Yeah, we have Ambedkar here.
Lenin, Marx and Engels.
Yes, this is Ho Chi Minh.
Does he occupy a special place in the party, sir, in terms of an ideologue, in terms of an icon?
Yeah,
Or is it just coincidental that we have a bust here?
Yeah, both you can say. We have great respect, love for Ho Chi Minh because South Asia, this, and he led the people fighting against American imperialism, French and Japanese militarism,
forces, yeah.
all. And the way he worked with people is highly inspiring. That's what he used to say. Live with the people, eat with the people, sleep with the people, lead the people. So, a life of inspiration. And we have all his portraits everywhere.
Yeah, I think his portraits and
He
dominate the entire office.
He had a special relationship also with our General Secretary, Nehru. Check this out.
This is Nehru, and who is this, sir, in the photo? Your General Secretary, Nehru and Ho Chi Minh.
The Nehru,
Yeah.
our Ajay Ghosh,
Ajay
Ho Chi Minh. It's one of the oldest rare photos we have.
Great, so after that tour of the office, we are finally in the office that matters, in the office of Mr. Raja, against the backdrop of Lenin. This is a beautiful portrait, but not signed by anybody. So it's an anonymous portrait, but it's beautiful. Do you have any idea, sir, where this portrait came from?
No, it was here even before I came. So it was obtained by my predecessors. So it is there. This is a room of the General Secretary of the party. So it is there.
Right. So, sir, now I'll get into the more formal part of the interview. I just want to tell you that in preparation for this interview, I went through 3 major documents or materials. One, of course, your own writing. One, your party Congress resolution from 2022. I think it was held in Vijayawada. And the third document, I find it very interesting. It's a 1948 document, which is called the Program of Democratic Revolution. This was your second party conference in which you laid out the path for how you will participate in the democracy. So these are the 3 broad things I've looked at. But before any of that, sir, I want to actually know what's happening with the Communist Party and the movement, for starters, because the CPI in this document and also for many years has been talking about reunification. And I wish Mr. Yechury was here. I tried, in fact, to get both of you in the same interview. From the outside, because of so many alliances that you've already been part of, from the public point of view, the distinction between CPI and CPM has somewhat blurred. So if you can tell us about the distinction, and also please tell us what's happening with the calls for a reunification of the CPI and the CPM.
The split was a major development, and it affected the growth of communist movement and influence of the communist movement in the country. And nobody, for that matter, I belong to the Communist Party of India, and I always stood for unity, and my party stands for unity. But somehow the split took place. There were some ideological, political reasons. But in today's context, those ideological, political reasons are not there. Now it is a new situation. When the split took place, it was a different time. The country in the post-independent India, there was one party rule, that is Congress party. After independence, it is Congress party which had the power.
Yes.
And the first time in 1957, Communist Party broke that one party rule and won the elections in Kerala. 1967, that one party rule was broken in 7-8 states. So till that time, the Communist Party was a major force in shaping the political course of the country. After the split, it has affected the Communist Party's electoral strength. Electoral strength.
You still have an office and a unit in every district in India.
In the meantime, the regional parties also emerged. So India, a country with tremendous diversities. It is multilingual, multicultural, multinational, the country that way. So regional parties also emerged, and Communist Party had to respond to the aspirations of the people of every part of the country. And Communist Party has its own ideology, its own perspective for building a new India. A new India. We fought against British rule. We fought against all colonial powers. We fought against British colonialism. We fought against French colonialism. We fought against Portuguese colonialism. Our party made supreme sacrifices in the fight against colonial rule. And we finally won independence. And independence was not given to us on a platter by anybody. We fought and won the independence. And in this building, you could have seen how many portraits of Bhagat Singh. And they are all martyrs who fought against the colonial rule in such a way. So now, after independence, what should be the new India? That was the issue. As far as our party is concerned, we always think of a casteless, classless India, where no gender bias, men, women are all equal. And that is our perspective for New India, a casteless, classless India.
I'd like to interrupt you for a second here, sir. If I had asked a person from the CPM, let's say if I was having the same interview with Mr. Yechury, I would imagine that he would say the same things, which is what led to the question in the first place, saying what are the contradictions between the CPI and the CPM?
No, that's what I am coming to that point. When one party rule was there, what should be our attitude to the government, state power? And our party had its understanding. Indian state is a state of national bourgeoisie. Indian state is a state of national bourgeoisie in which the landlords have their own influence. But the comrades who broke with our party and went away, they thought Indian state is a state of bourgeoisie and landlords. That was the idea. Then what should be the future course? And our party at that point of time proposed India should move towards national democratic revolution because we should unite all non-monopoly bourgeoisie, non-monopoly bourgeoisie, then small, medium farmers.
So non-monopoly bourgeoisie means...
I am finishing. So that's what we proposed. On their side, they talked about people's democratic revolution. The working class, they should lead, and that is what they proposed.
Right.
People's democratic revolution. Now, where do we stand? And at that point of time, on international level also, there were debates in world communist movement, whether Soviet
or the Chinese.
Line or Chinese line. And that impact was also there here on India. So all these factors operated, but finally party split, and CPI, CPM, then from CPM, ML,
Yeah.
Naxalite movement, so many other groups emerged. But what is today? What we can do today? How to, because when you talked about a party diminished, this, that, electorally we might have become smaller or declined.
Right.
But the ideological influence, the political influence of the communist movement has not diminished. That's what I'm saying. That has not diminished. In fact, that is having greater impact and influence among all sections, particularly among the young people of India. And they have seen many political parties, and in a multi-party democracy, they keep seeing many parties. But what is the alternative? When I say alternative, that alternative for a revolutionary change, or it should pave the way for a revolutionary change. So the communist movement always stands for an alternative, stands for building a new India. When I say new India, why there should be poverty? Why there should be caste hierarchy? Why there should be class divisions? So how to overcome, how to fight? Because we should apply whether Leninism or Marxism to Indian conditions. How we understand Indian conditions. What is Indian society? Indian society is a caste society. And this is what Dr. Ambedkar said. You can talk of any political reform or economic reform, but wherever you go, you will have to confront the monster, which is called caste.
Actually,
because that monster crosses you. Unless you annihilate that monster. That is where he talked about annihilation of caste. And even as communists, we have to address this question in Indian society. The same way, women, why patriarchy should continue, and how patriarchy can be perpetuated. Then the other question is class. Everybody understands the productive forces are improving and production relations are changing. Now, once we talked about proletarians have nothing to lose except chains. Now, artificial intelligence has come. So there is a great change in the productive process itself. So the class approach, what should be the class approach? It is only trade union economism, or fighting for only economic demands, or more than that. This question was discussed by Marx and Engels, and they themselves clarified. Class struggle doesn't mean only struggle for economic demands. Class struggle means struggle for political power also. Class struggle means philosophical struggle. How to change the mindset of our people.
Right.
Yeah, we keep talking about compassion, love, harmony among the people, for which you will have to change your mindset How to do it? It is an ideological struggle. It is a philosophical struggle. This is what Marx, Engels have explained, and Lenin tried to implement in Russia. Now in India, it's our country. Here we have all these caste problems. By birth, people are divided. Upper caste, lower caste, all such things. How to fight the caste system? This is what we should.
We'll come to the Indian question, we'll come to Ambedkar, but I just noticed that in all of this, you didn't tell me what is going to happen with the reunification.
No,
what is coming in the way, sir? Is there any...
No, I am telling you, it is Communist Party of India which proposed the reunification of communist movement on principled basis. You can ask anybody.
Yes, it is there in your document.
No,
also.
you can ask anybody. When Comrade Chandra Rajeshwar Rao, C. Rajeshwar Rao, when Comrade C. Rajeshwar Rao was the General Secretary of the party, we had a party congress in Calcutta where the CPI formally proposed it is time we should strive for reunification of the communist movement on principled basis. And CPI did not stop with that. CPI consistently took efforts to unify, and we tried to unify the mass organization, class organizations. There was an effort to unify the...
The effort is lacking from CPM?
Listen. There was an effort to unify the Kisan organizations. And
anyway, you say the same name. AIKS.
Both names, All India Kisan Sabha, All India Kisan Sabha.
But the address is changed or something.
Address is changed, and we agreed to merge, and a resolution was passed in our Kisan Sabha. But it could not move forward. In the same way, when Comrade A.B. Bardhan was General Secretary of our party, General Secretary of AITC, Comrade Balanandan was leader of CITU, they both agreed to unify the Electricity Workers Federation. They formed a committee also to work out the modalities of unification merger, but that could not move forward. Then when Comrade Indrajit Gupta was General Secretary, Comrade Surjit was General Secretary, in their names, it was agreed to send a common circular to all state units of CPI, CPM, asking them to constitute state-level coordination committee. We sent common circular signed by Comrade Indrajit Gupta, Comrade Surjit.
This was in the year?
When they were general secretaries. But some states, they try to have coordination at state level, all such things. But nothing substantial could take place. Now, I am the general secretary of my party. Comrade Yechury is general secretary of CPM. Even at our time, we keep discussing how to unite the left, not only communist movement, how to unite the entire left.
You think there's a scope for that also to happen?
There is. The situation demands. Left should come together.
Which means the ML parties also?
Everybody will have to come together. There should be greater left unity, greater communist unity. Why I am saying? Today, the political power has been captured by right-wing fascist forces. Right-wing fascist forces. What is RSS? It was formed in the year 1925.
Both of you are...
And our party was formed in the year 1925.
Exactly.
Now, RSS captured power. BJP is nothing but political arm of RSS. And RSS has an ideology. That ideology is divisive, sectarian, communal, fascist. When such change has taken place in the country, how to save the nation and its future if left doesn't come together, communist movement doesn't work as a collective unit. This is what the situation is asking, the history is asking these questions. How long this can continue? Split took place. There might have been some reasons, but those reasons or those causes are not valid today. They are valid today. We should understand it is a new situation. And in the new situation, communists also will have to apply their mind how to address the challenges posed by the new situation. This is what our party has been saying. We openly, I say, now we are here. You were asking about other political parties. Surjit Bhavan is there. I told openly, you walk from Surjit Bhavan 2 minutes, you can reach Ajay Bhavan. From there you go to CIT 2 minutes. From there you go to AITC 2 minutes.
And all of this can become properties of one party.
Geographic, don't use that word properties. What I am saying, geographically we are so close.
Yes.
But why not ideologically? Why not politically? When we are confronting the right-wing fascist forces, the communists must understand the need of the situation, the unity of left and communist movement. Now parliament is becoming redundant. If parliament becomes redundant, democracy dies. This is what happened in Germany. The Reichstag was attacked, then attack on communists, then democracy, everything gone, fascism. In the same way in India, parliament is made redundant and how democracy will survive. So we'll have to save democracy. We'll have to save the constitution. Then only we can shape the political course of the country.
Right. Okay, I still didn't get an answer for that question, but I'll move to the...
What is that?
My question really was, sir, what is stopping that unity?
What is this stopping? We are proposing, you are asking me.
No, but CPM is not...
Go and ask them.
Okay.
This is not the way to have a debate.
No.
And you are accusing me.
No,
it
I'm not
is
accusing.
My party which proposed reunification of the communist
That's
movement on principle basis. I told you when Comrade Rajeshwara was General Secretary, this was proposed by CPI, unification of the communist movement on principle basis, and we continue that. And if that doesn't happen, you will have to ask the other party. Instead of that, you are trying to accuse...
I'm not trying to accuse you of anything, sir. Not at all. I will, in fact, I have an interview scheduled with Mr. Yechury also. I'll ask him. But sir, if you'll allow me now to move a little away from the Indian politics, your party is always known as one which has an internationalist vision. The communists always have an internationalist vision. And in that, I was going through your party document. I looked up the section on Russia, sir. One, of course, in the party conference, you invited the CPIML, and they had a pretty interesting take on this matter. They in fact, I just have their statement somewhere here.
No, I know.
They say that Russia should unilaterally withdraw. But in your statement, you talk about NATO, and your focus is on the US. I just want to understand, sir, do you see the Russian aggression as a problem, or is it something that is not the focus of the party, sir?
One should try to understand what is Russia today, what is happening between Russia and Ukraine, who should be held responsible for this ongoing war or crisis. What is NATO? What is the history of NATO? Why NATO is spreading? North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Instead of confining to North Atlantic, why it is spreading, expanding everywhere? What is the business NATO has got? So this is where we should understand the present imperialist character. What imperialism was at the time of Lenin is one thing. What imperialism at our time is another thing. And why NATO is trying to expand. And for that, NATO is creating military conflicts. NATO is creating military conflicts. NATO is trying to take membership of every country. What is the need for NATO? There is United Nations. If at all somebody talks about some international forum, there is United Nations. Why NATO should be there? UN security forces are there. Peacekeeping forces are there. There is the International Court of Justice, even on Palestine, Israel. International Court of Justice has given a verdict against Israel. So, what is this NATO? First of all, people should question, what is this NATO? Why NATO is so aggressive? Why NATO is trying to spread everywhere? And NATO will not stop only Central Asia. NATO can move to South Asia also.
Right.
And your India will come under pressure from NATO. Then what happens?
Right. But the question is also, what about Russia? The reason I asked this, sir, okay, this is from my previous interview. I had interviewed Kavita Krishnan. She said,
I'm not getting into what others say.
No, but
I'm not getting into what others say. First of all, you should understand. I have my position. And Russia must have some concerns for Russian nationality, Russian-speaking people, and Ukraine was part of Soviet Union.
So that is the thing. So Ukraine being part of Soviet Union.
Why this split took place? Why this? No, it is not time to accuse one country or other.
Right.
What our party has said, stop the war. Dialogue is the only way. Talk to each other. This is what my party has said. What others are saying, I don't. It is their understanding.
But would you consider what Russia is saying, sir?
No, what Russia is saying, even today we are saying, stop the war, engage in dialogue, try to resolve problems, whatever may be, and don't allow NATO to get in. Say no to NATO. Russia and Ukraine can resolve their problems, talking to each other. They were part of one union, Soviet Union. Now there can be some problems. They can resolve those problems through dialogue. This is what now, if you take accusing one nation and siding with the other nation, you will play in the hands of NATO. This is what I am saying.
Right.
Now war should be brought to an end. And there should be dialogue. This is our party's position.
Yes, and I just wanted to draw your attention. You said you don't want to respond to what Kavita said, which is fair, sir. She's not even part of the CPIML anymore. But I just wanted to get your sense of what Russia itself is saying. So I was going through this writings of this person called Alexander Dugin, who is supposed to be Putin's Rasputin. He's supposed to be Putin's mind. Now, in an article in Seminar, I think last year he wrote this article, he says, he invokes the idea of Akhand Bharat, saying that a larger Russian landmass and a larger Indian landmass is part of the national imagination, is part of the civilization of these countries. I can quote him saying that, he talks about multipolarity, sir. He says, by joining the club of multipolarity, India could achieve new goals in a return to its history and its traditions. So, trying to say that there is a common ground between how Akhand Bharat operates and how Russia operates.
Let us not get into all this very fictitious.
No, it's not fictitious, sir. This is an advisor of Putin's.
He may be advisor of Putin. He is not my advisor. I don't decide my policies taking his advice.
But Russia decides its policies.
Whatever may be, Russia can decide. I need not decide taking his advice. Who is he to give such an advice to me? That is not the point. The point is multipolarity has become an issue when after 1990s, in fact, the neoliberal policies were imposed in the name of Washington consensus. The neoliberal policies were imposed on the whole world. And that was the time there was an attempt by US to emerge as unipolar world. And that was the time we should understand because collapse of Soviet Union, and some ideologues started speaking end of ideology, end of history, everything has come to end, and only US imperialist power will emerge as unipolar world. That was the time we as communists, we all fought for multipolarity, and world cannot become unipolar one, and world must remain multipolar, and non-aligned movement. What is the role of non-aligned movement? What is the role of a country like India? We discussed all these questions, Akhanda Bharat, it is here the right-wing forces who keep talking about Akhand Bharat. Ask them to define Akhand Bharat. What is Akhand Bharat? Anyone only they can refer to Pakistan. What do they mean by Akhand Bharat? Ask them to explain. And now the thing is, Akhand Bharat here, Akhand Russia. So all right-wing forces are coming together. That is the idea they try to
Promote,
project. When Lenin was there, it was Soviet Union, and Lenin said self-determination to all nationalities. The peace accord was the first accord signed by that is decree on peace.
Yeah.
That was the first decree signed by Lenin, and which allowed nationalities to take self-determination position. Despite all those things, they all came together, lived together, worked together. They built Soviet Union. Later on, Soviet Union collapsed. There were certain reasons. And those reasons were analyzed, even now being analyzed. Every communist party tried to understand what happened in Soviet Union at the time of Gorbachev. What is this perestroika? All those things were discussed. In 1992, our party congress discussed what is happening, what happened in Soviet Union, how it happened, all these things. Every party tried to understand. Now the question is, because comparing all these things, we must be clear. What is NATO? What business NATO has got in Central Asia? It is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Why it has to come to Indian Ocean region? Can we allow NATO to come to Indian Ocean region? Now they are trying to build India, Australia, Japan, all this. Can we agree to that? In fact, when I was youth activist, we organized an international conference in Chennai in 1976 to declare Indian Ocean as zone of peace. Now why military blocks should emerge in the Indian Ocean region? So we'll have to look at the
holistic picture.
Overall developments at the world level, global level. Because here imperialist powers, because they are in a crisis, imperialist powers are in crisis, and they think they want to dominate the whole world, even environment. Who should be held responsible for climatic change, global warming? And there was a time they tried to accuse India and China. They are the most populous countries. They are responsible for all these things. But in reality, it is something else. And it is imperialist powers which were responsible for climatic change. Now, the humanity is facing the impact of climatic change. So, we will have to understand the developments at global level, the political developments, economic developments, social developments in an objective way, and not falling into some kind of subjectivism. This is my understanding. Whether others agree or not, that is their problem. But my understanding this, and it's the same way I look at my own country, my own society, why people they should live in such a pathetic social environment, why there should be caste, why there should be patriarchy, why there should be class division, why all citizens cannot have means of livelihood as they want. This is what Dr. Ambedkar said. Now there is an attempt to redefine Indian nation and Indian state. You have seen the preamble of the Constitution. Our Constitution makes it clear Indian nation should remain as a secular democratic republic. Indian state should be a secular state, not a theocratic state.
Right.
Indian state should remain as a secular state. And Indian state should be a welfare state, ensuring all means of livelihood to all its citizens, men and women. This is what Constitution says. Then Indian state should remain as a federal state. That is what Dr. Ambedkar said. India, that is Bharat, Union of States. In fact, originally Ambedkar called United States of India.
Yes, I remember.
When he drafted the Constitution, he said Union of States. Union of States means what? So every state has its own elected government, and there should be coordination, cooperation on the basis of federal principles. Mr. Modi talks about cooperative federalism. There is neither cooperation nor federalism, but he calls cooperative federalism, grabbing all powers of state governments and centralizing all powers of the country. And how can we agree such development to continue? That is where we keep talking. Left must come together. Communists must come together. There is a need for left unity, communist unity. We will have to strengthen the left unity, communist unity. Once left communist movement emerges, it can ideologically influence other centrist forces. And even in our document we have said, centrist forces
Yes, I see this, yeah.
may not take left of center position, but they should not take right of center position. Centrist forces should not take right of center position. They may not take left of center position. This is what we have pointed out, and we will have to work together on an agreed platform. What is that? We will have to strive for education, healthcare, employment, housing, food for all our citizens. And they must be the rights of our citizens. How to bring people together, how to unite all forces which want a change, a progressive change, not this regressive change, taking the country backward to a monolithic medieval socio-political order. This is what our party has been clearly spelling out. Now we are doing public debate also, and we interact with other parties also.
Thanks. I mean, that's like a good sense of your entire perspective on the Indian and the neighborhood, the Indian neighborhood and all of that. But sir, you brought up Ambedkar many times in the course of this description, and I was researching and I found that it is a recurring theme in your writings, I think starting from 2015, which was his 125th year. You wrote this big op-ed in the Indian Express. It was called Ambedkar for Our Time in 2015. And I must ask you this because in the outside world, there's always a rivalry that is projected between Ambedkarites and the left. And you over here in your article, you say, he opened a debate between caste and class in Indian context, which is significant even today. His vision of India's freedom is most revolutionary because it calls for annihilation of caste, which is more fundamental than economic socialism. Sir, does that mean that the idea of caste trumps the idea of class? I mean, because that's when I see in campuses and all that, when young students debate, one left group will be saying class and one Ambedkarite group will be saying caste. But what do you mean when you say annihilation of caste is more fundamental than economic socialism?
That's what one should try to understand the dialectics between caste and class. In Indian society, there was a debate at the time of Ambedkar whether caste should be treated as part of superstructure or as part of
the base.
base.
Right.
Ambedkar said it is part of base because by birth people are divided, branded.
But the communists didn't say that. So now is there a change in that?
No, we have
are saying that,
we
okay.
have to reread Indian society. What is Indian society? What is our understanding of Indian society?
Right.
Sidelining or bypassing caste, can you build a popular social movement in India? That is what I said, caste. Yeah, Indians, wherever they go, they carry caste. They go to UK, they carry caste there. They go to USA, they carry caste there. We all come to know how the United States passed a bill on the question of atrocities on Dalits.
Dalits, yeah.
So now the point is,
Caste discrimination bill in Seattle and
yeah, you mentioned university students are arguing. What is the problem in the institutions of higher learning? I am telling you, Ambedkar said knowledge, education is power.
right.
When I was a schoolboy, my village people used to observe Ambedkar's birth anniversary. They will put Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, then 2 lines, what are the degrees, PhDs Ambedkar obtained from which university. It used to strike me, how come this man got so many degrees, so many PhDs? Then I came to understand, education is power. I am the first graduate in my village. I am the first person who can articulate in English. So education is power. I understand. Now in the institutions of higher learning, the children coming from marginalized, so-called marginalized sections, discriminated sections, they come up and they conquer the education and they challenge anybody. And this is not accepted now. That is why there is conscious discrimination against Dalits, Adivasi children, students in higher institutions of higher education. Some people commit suicide, some people revolt and fight back. But why it is happening? I am asking, all intellectuals must apply their mind. Why in our institutions such discrimination should continue? Starting from JNU, Chennai IIT, why such discrimination should continue?
The Hyderabad University, Rohit Vemula.
Rohit Vemula, I spoke in Parliament on several times. I spoke in Parliament. After that, this Kailalanji, when Kailalanji tragedy happened, my party asked me, I wrote Dalit question, the way forward.
Right.
Then after reading that, Comrade Govind Pansare, the martyr, he said, Raja, you must develop it as a book. It is wonderful. Then only I sat with one of my friends, comrades, who was a professor in Madurai University. We both co-authored that book, Marx Ambedkar, continuing the dialogue. So in today's
Muthumohan.
Muthumohan is Madurai University. We both sat together and worked out this book, Marx Ambedkar, the continuing dialogue.
Which year was this, sir? This book? Which year was this book? This was
a few years back. You can say, check.
The reason I'm asking is
what I am trying to say, in today's context, the Marxists, Ambedkarites, Periyarists, and all social reformists, those who follow, they all come together and work together for revolutionary change of our society. I don't know, you are from Kerala or no?
From Bangalore only, sir. Because,
Okay.
yes.
Kerala is number one state as far as literacy is concerned. How it happened? You must have heard Ayyan Kali.
Yes, yes.
And he was a great Dalit revolutionary. He fought for education of Dalit children. He demanded gates of schools must be opened for Dalit children. Do you know that? And he did not ask for the gates of temples to be opened. He asked for gates of schools to be opened for Dalit children. They must have education.
Right.
That is why today Kerala is number one state. In the same way, in Tamil Nadu, I can say, the Ayodhyadas Pandit, Periyar, they all fought for social reforms, social justice. Today, Tamil Nadu is one of the leading states as far as social awareness, the consciousness for justice and everything. It happened. So, what I am trying to say, in today's context, communists, Ambedkarites, Periyarists, and all those who follow such social reformers must come together and fight for change. And that change not only in material life, that change in mindset also.
Intellectually.
Mindset also. To end, I can quote my daughter, how I learned from her. Actually, she was a kid, school-going kid. There was a Muslim family in VP House. They used to do this namaz evenings. She used to follow. Then some friends came, somebody, journalists, they were there at home. Then she, on her own, asked, do you know how Muslims do namaz? They said, no. Then she demonstrated. Then they started provoking her. What is happening in your house? What about your mother? My mother, she may be a Christian because she has taken, what is that upper? Baptism. Yes, she has taken baptism. She must be a Christian. What about your father? My father? I don't know what he is. Maybe a Hindu.
Right.
Then they asked, what about you? Me? I'm a normal human being. You see, how can we ask people should feel they are normal human being?
Right.
They should share the sufferings of fellow human being. They should be compassionate to fellow human being. This is what Buddha said. Have compassion to fellow human being.
Yeah. No, speaking of Buddha, actually, again, you are writing, you analyze Ambedkar over here, and you say, in our country, the philosophy and practice centered around Marxism was best understood and reflected by BR Ambedkar when he juxtaposed it with Buddhism and reconciled both to emancipate those who suffered from rigid social structures such as caste and gender. And this interest in Buddhism, this interest in Ambedkar, sir, do you think it is a little new? Is it new learning for the party? The reason I asked this, can I just finish this question,
okay,
sir? The reason I asked this, sir, I just pulled out, I was telling you I went into the 1948 resolution, sir. There I think there was a more sharp line of division between Ambedkar and his followers and the Communist Party. You say in that 1948 document, it says, the Congress, led mainly by bourgeois leaders belonging to upper castes, has consistently refused to champion the cause of the untouchable masses. This led to reformist and separatist leaders like Dr. Ambedkar to keep the untouchable masses away from the general democratic movement, to foster the illusion that their lot can be improved by siding with imperialists. The utter bankruptcy of this policy is proved by the fact that while the top leaders of the untouchables, like Dr. Ambedkar and Mr. Mondal, Jogendranath Mondal, who we say, have become ministers and have thus lined up with the ruling sections of India and Pakistan, the trusting untouchable masses continue to suffer social degradation and economic exclusion as before. So you can make out that in 1948 there's a different this thing.
No,
So,
1948 it was a different
but
situation.
even today there is this
No.
doubt that persists. No, sir. Yeah.
1948 it was a different situation. My party was not allowed to function legally.
Yes. This document actually brought you into the legal framework.
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying. The party was not allowed to function legally. There were many contradictions in the political life. That was the time. And those contradictions led to misunderstandings, miscommunications also. So what has been said,
No, I'm not saying that that's relevant today.
No. What has been said doesn't stand today. The party has moved forward and made many changes in its understanding. And Ambedkar, he wrote Buddha and
Karl Marx.
Karl Marx.
Yes.
Buddha and Karl Marx. And he said what Buddha calls
Dukkha.
The Marx called the exploitation. Yeah, that's why Ambedkar should compare Buddha and Karl Marx, because both were belong to different time and different geographical place. And why Ambedkar compared both Buddha and this is what one should understand. Then in one intellectuals meeting, I asked if Ambedkar is alive today, where Ambedkar will go. I asked, will Ambedkar support all these neoliberal economic policies? Then they said, no sir, he cannot support. Then where Ambedkar will go? I asked whether Ambedkar will support this Hindu Rashtra. No sir, Ambedkar will never support Hindu Rashtra. Then I myself told them, Ambedkar said if Hindu Rashtra becomes reality, that will be calamity. And I born as Hindu accidentally. I will never die as Hindu. This is all Ambedkar said. So then what Ambedkar will do? I asked. There was silence. Then I broke the silence. I said, if Ambedkar is alive, Ambedkar will hold my hand. I will hold Ambedkar's hand. We both will walk together. We both will fight together for the liberation of the people from all forms of exploitations. This is how I ended one scholars workshop in Madurai.
Right.
So now Ambedkar is reread. To an extent, I must say, people discuss Ambedkar's constitutional the things and other things.
But the political vision.
And nobody discusses thoroughly the economic thoughts of Ambedkar.
Okay.
I used to tell people the economic thoughts of Ambedkar must be studied properly. It was Ambedkar who said means of production should not be in the hands of some individuals. Even Ambedkar went to the extent of saying land should be nationalized. Now what is happening to our farming community? So the Ambedkar's economic thoughts are very relevant today. Even the dam irrigation. Ambedkar did not want to be law minister. Ambedkar wanted to be planning minister. You know that? So Ambedkar had a vision. Ambedkar's vision, I understand, it leads us to socialism.
Right.
When Constituent Assembly there was debate, Mr. Shah asked him, why you are not using the word socialism? Ambedkar said, what all I have said in the directive principles of state policy, they are nothing but socialism.
And no further explanation is required in the preamble.
That's what
that's true.
Ambedkar said.
Sir, actually, now since you painted this almost romantic picture of, I suddenly imagined D. Raja walking with Ambedkar. You said we would walk hand in hand today. But I went into your party document, which is the only source I can get. So this is the resolution of your party in the 24th Party Congress, and there are two sections, sir. One is the economic overview and the alternative economic plan. in both these sections, there was no mention of Dalits or Adivasis or women, given that when it comes to the economic exclusion of these communities, they face it more acutely, perhaps because of their identity, they face it more acutely than some other communities. The only section where I saw Dalits and Adivasis mentioned was, there's a separate section, I think I'll just go to that page if you'll allow me. It is RSS Assault on the Idea of India, page 101.
No, I know, it is my document.
It's your document, sir.
Yeah, I know.
The section is only relating to, sorry sir, if you'll allow me to finish this question. The entire section, increasing attacks on Dalits and the tribal question, is talking about the attacks on those communities, the attempt to turn them into Hindus, to turn them into militant Hindutva activists, the appropriation of their culture. In the question of the tribals, there is of course some reference to FRA, the Forest Rights Act, but in the question of Dalits, there is no economic program, there is no social program that the party mentions. Why is that?
You should read our entire document.
I did,
this is political resolution. There we have identified the Dalit question, tribal question, women. We have talked about social justice, economic. There we have talked about how public sector should be protected, how reservation should be protected. In fact, in Parliament, I spoke when privatization is done like this, there should be reservation in private sector. Right. My speech is viral in Parliament.
Yeah, you introduced a...
Yes, I introduced a private member resolution and quoting K.R. Narayan. There should be reservation in private sector. Even when this economically weaker section bill was brought, quota bill, I raised that issue. Where is bring a bill to provide reservation in private sector? Why you are not? Then there we have said, in our document we have said, education, healthcare, employment, housing, food, all must be the rights of our citizens. That means what? To whom we are asking health, education. This is all for Dalits and Adivasis. They are not given the access to education, healthcare. So our resolution comprehensively, it answers to all questions.
Right. Sir, actually there's this part over here where the party accepts that electorally it might be weak, and this initially electorally it might have suffered, but the point that you made initially, that the grassroots movement, is pretty strong and all that. But in terms of rebuilding and reviving the party and all of that, there are certain suggestions which are given, sir, in which I found it little interesting that to overcome the weaknesses in the organization, that is the section, you propose that young people and women should be promoted in leadership.
Definitely.
You propose a 15% reservation for women in positions of power in the party.
It is not just reservation. It is to give an indication, at least. It can be 50% also. It can, no.
That is not my question. See, this is what you say. The party has to promote the young and women in party leadership to overcome the problems of gerontocracy. The CPI must give 15% reservation to women in elections in various...
See, there is gender gap, there is generation gap. How to overcome the gender gap, generation gap?
But there is also caste gap, no sir? In leadership, there is also caste gap.
I am coming. It is also there. The idea is we will have to make conscious effort to recruit and promote women in our party structure.
Leadership.
Same way, including leadership. Same way, young people should be brought. And in the same way, we have asked we should bring more Dalit, Adivasi cadets.
But that is not in writing.
No, it is there. It is a part of our understanding. But it is not in the... No, we need not write.
In the resolution.
Then you will ask me, your party has no Dalit people. Yeah. But understanding, when we recruit our party membership, we have a column what is the percentage of socially discriminated sections, Dalits, Adivasis. We take note, we study the composition of our party membership. We reach out to the Dalits, Adivasis, women, minorities, and recruit them to the party. That is a conscious effort. We continue to do that.
Sir, my final question, we're running out of time. In this India alliance, I started off talking about the alliance, but my specific question here is, when I was going through your older documents and the present resolution, it seems like not much has changed since 1948 in terms of how you view, for example, the Congress party. Back then also you described it as a bourgeois upper caste party which vacillates between right wing and left wing. Now also you say the same thing.
Now you see, it was Congress party which brought these neoliberal economic policies when Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister. And he was Finance Minister first when then he became Prime Minister. The point is, Nehru was one who established Planning Commission. Nehru was one who laid the foundation for our public sector undertakings. In fact, Nehru went to the extent of calling modern temples of modern India. And it was Nehru who did all these pro-people measures. Now Congress party slided from that position. In fact, we openly saying Congress party should revert back to Nehruvian policies.
But Nehru himself has been criticized quite vehemently in your 48 document, saying that he vacillates between
No, that's all old documents you are quoting.
Okay.
Old documents,
it's not relevant anymore.
There were many things. Even we were critical of Gandhi also.
Back then,
Gandhi was critical of us. And then Gandhi said communists are the most dedicated people philosophically. Then he spoke Gandhi. So
those things don't matter.
Ambedkar was defeated by Congress in Maharashtra. He could not be in the Constituent Assembly. Then one Mondal had to resign. And Ambedkar came from that. Then Bangladesh went, the East Pakistan. Then many questions are there. There are many questions. So we should not bring those things now. Now what we are saying? Now what we are saying? We want to build a revolutionary party representing the sections of the people who continue to be oppressed and exploited. And that is where only our party speaks in clear-cut terms, fighting against Manu Smriti.
Yes, I noticed that, yes.
Which party is speaking?
That is true,
Our party is speaking. We keep criticizing and opposing Manu Smriti, caste system, patriarchy, everywhere. Class exploitation, one understands. But what about caste discrimination? What about patriarchy? How can we keep quiet on those issues? Only our party, you can check.
I did check actually.
Our party, how clearly our party spells out its positions on all these matters. So in Indian context, if one has to move forward to revolution or revolutionary change, you have to address these questions: caste, class, patriarchy. Unless you address these questions, you cannot build a revolutionary party, revolutionary movement. This is our understanding, and we keep doing that.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Raja. So caste, class and gender as concurrent themes in the revolution, and the revolutionary class will emerge from these sections, sir. Do you feel that the revolutionary class will emerge from women, from among Dalits, from among...
Revolutionary class, that is why today the class struggle in Indian context, we should think over. Or class struggle in our times.
Right.
What class struggle was there in 18th century when the capitalist mode of production was emerging? That's one thing. Now It's a different time. And here, what is the class struggle? That's where I said how to change the mindset. Yeah, everybody is educated, everybody has a smartphone and access to information and other things. But why that attitude has not changed? Why people do not think we are all human beings? We all should live together. We have to share our sufferings, difficulties. We have to share our joys. We are all human beings. Why that is not coming up, emerging? So what is the fight in the cultural field, in civilizational field? We keep talking about civilization referring to old.
Right.
But my point is, what is your civilization today? So we'll have to bring revolution in our understanding of civilization also. I am a human being, you are a human being, but why I should have hatred towards you? Why you should have hatred towards me? Why can't we live together and work together for the common good? How to bring that change? That is what we are trying to do.
All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Raja. I hope I have asked some questions which you found relevant. Thank you so much for listening to this show. This is Sudipto Mondal.